at Burna Boy now. Look at what he's doing to Speed Darlington. You say you're an African giant. Why are you oppressing a mosquito?
1984 was the year that Speed Darlington was born. 5 years later, something significant happened. In Detroit, US, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Eazy-E had a song called F the Police. Listen, they were warned by the police to never play it at the show they were about to perform. Well, these people disobeyed and they went ahead to play it. 30 seconds later, into playing the song, there were gunshots. Yeah, by the police, which dispersed the crowd. Fast forward to 2024, we see history repeating itself, but this time in Imo State, Nigeria. With Speed Darlington, only this time there were no live gunshots, but there were police. 50 of them, ready to pick him up. Why? He stepped on the giant's toe. Now grab a popcorn, cause this story is deeper than you think. Speed Darlington is one of the most loved artists in Nigeria, not only for his wonderful music, but also because of his antics. Now if I'm to describe Speed Darlington in one word, it's going to be untamable. Well, this untamed nature has its positives and some would say negatives. For positive, well, that's why I and a large number of people like him. For negative, that's why Burna Boy hates him. But Burna Boy and Speed Darlington have the same character. Burna Boy does the same thing, so what's the problem here? Now come here, let me explain things to you. Are they similar? Well, yes and no. You see, Burna Boy has always had a controversial career since the onset. People base that on his personality. Well, his untamable personality. From the lyric days to the African giant days, the day that he saw that his name was small on the flyer, and was like, where's my name? My name is small like Coachella. No, I'm the African giant. Listen, Speed Darlington and Burna Boy are basically the same person. But the difference between Speed and Burna Boy is that Speed has a little bit of humor and horniness to him. Whilst Burna Boy, on the other hand, is a very serious person. Keep this image in your head. This is what I mean when I say a very serious person from now on. Now the hate from Burna Boy to Speed Darlington all stems from one name. P. Diddy, Sean Combs. Late November 2024, a lawsuit was filed against P. Diddy by a guy called Rodney Jones. This was him coming out to accuse P. Diddy of agege. I'm not gonna lie for you. Agege. In a document where Rodney Jones states that P. Diddy doesn't do anything for you for free. He asks for favors, whether you be woman or man. This destroyed a lot of things because people now began to see P. Diddy in a bad light. Wait, what? How? Listen, people who were associated with P. Diddy or people who have even had an interaction with P. Diddy, just an interaction, were now being looked at in a different way. More stories began to come out about his parties and stuff. And if you hear the story, oh my goodness, they were called freak-offs. This became so bad that the authorities raided P. Diddy's house. And guess what they found? 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Now, with that aside, how does Burna Boy come into the picture? That's where the story becomes interesting. Remember that I said sometime that Burna Boy was angry with the Coachella that his name was so small that he couldn't see it in the flyer? Yes, he called the organizers out and he called himself the African Giant. African Giant, remember that name? He was so pissed that he released an album with the same name. And this particular thing changed the trajectory of his career for good. Notable mentions, anybody, Burna, garnered global recognition, earning him a nomination, Grammy nomination, at the 62nd Grammy Awards. Unfortunately, he did not win. But Burna Boy, you see how everything is playing out? He's in to win, he doesn't lose, so he went again. Then he released an album called Twice as Tall. And that was what did it. That was what made, oh my God. And the hard work paid off, man. He won the best global music album. The Grammy. But there was a problem. The Grammy was not legit. Close quote. This was the rhetoric going around in enemy camps, notably the Wizkid FC and the 30BG. They were claiming that the Grammy was not legit because he had help. Remember this. Ooh. You see how everything is tying up? The help accusations were coming out because P. Diddy was actually a co-producer for the Twice as Tall album. And after that, he won the Grammys. That's a little coincidental, don't you think? So the Wizkid FC and the 30BG had this help notion for a very long time until the P. Diddy raid happened and everything changed. Hey, see what the Lord has done. So now this adds more fire and more coal to the Burna Boy hate train. Now instead of them saying Burna Boy was helped, they can say it is simply transactional. A lot of people began to dig up the times that Burna Boy met with P. Diddy and they started connecting dots that weren't even there. They had a lot to say, but they all kept their mouth shut because Burna Boy. But there was this one guy who was untamable, like Burna Boy. He did not care. He just came out and voiced out what a lot of people were murmuring.
Burna Boy, this video, I dey ask you questions. Don't get offended. Now question I dey ask. How many oil?
Those are some sayings.
Drop for your nyash. How many oil?
Let's be honest. Anyone who is accused of this will be very angry because this is humiliating. And remember, Burna Boy, he'll be rightfully pissed because this disproves all the hard work and effort he put into where he is today. But he decided to overlook this one because this is a joke and all that, blah, blah, blah. Until Speed Darlington doubled down. Guys, I want you to carefully watch this video right here and tell me what you think you would do in this situation.
Sucking up to Burna Boy don't mean shit. I am Odogu, that's my language. You trying to be like us, you trying to be like us, you trying to be one of us. You now one of us. Because if you are one of us, you would have known that Odogu is not a nickname. Go f your mother.
You see, one person that Burna Boy doesn't joke around with at all is his mother. You can insult him and everything, but his mom? I understand him. Fast forward a few days later, something happened. Speed Darlington went missing. How? When? A lot of fingers were pointing to one person. Because Speed Darlington has been on rampage against that particular one person. But we can't confirm until the culprit came to confirm himself. Oh my God, Burna Boy. Well, some people said it was justified, but others said it was oppression and abuse of money and power. This particular news spread like wildfire, and then a lot of pressure was being mounted on Burna Boy. A lot of lawyers came in. So obviously, at some point, Speed Darlington will have to be released. Remember, I said Speed Darlington was loved. When he was released, he was a good boy for a few days until he took the next flight to America. Well, that was when everything got worse. We thought he was going to lay low for a while, but no, he came for Burna Boy. This time with music called, yes, Baby Oil.
If I go missing, now you. If you go missing, no be me. I'm not gang affiliated.
Bro, this nigga doesn't know when to stop. The problem for Burna Boy is that Speed Darlington is in America, so it's much more difficult to arrest him now, since the laws are a little different over there. So there was only one option for Burna Boy. Wait. He'll come back, wouldn't he? He did. He eventually came back for a show in Imo State. Big mistake. Why? He had surprise guests. 50 of them. Who sent them? Burna Boy. And what was the case? Harassment. And there was this one lawyer that was not happy with what Burna Boy was doing.
Look at Burna Boy now. Look at what he's doing to Speed Darlington. You say you're an African giant. Why are you oppressing a mosquito? He has insulted Davido. He has insulted Wizkid. Yeah. So he's not different from Akpiwan Mama. Because you're a big man, mobilize 50 mobile policemen.
You see, there's some nuance to this issue. Listen closely. As a musician, your career is built on only one thing: perception. And perception breeds association. In this particular video, I kept hammering on one thing that Burna Boy Exactly, so that's how he's seen amongst the general public. The serious guy who stands for what he says, who puts a lot of hard work into his craft. And his music shows, man. Like, this guy's untouchable, man. Every serious music head knows this, we have to admit. And his stagecraft, his present, bro, like, come on, man. So meaning that anything that goes against his brand or perception destroys his image and makes him lose that one thing, association. That ultimately affects his bottom line, his money. So what would you do if you were Burna Boy? Would you allow somebody to destroy your work, affect your money? I know it's going to be very difficult, but put yourself in Burna Boy's shoes. What would you do if you had all the resources to prevent that? Be honest with yourself. I'll leave you to answer that, but in the comment section. As to whether Burna Boy is an oppressor or not, I cannot answer that question. It's up to you to decide. What do you think?
Georgia, by the way you look.